Hello, welcome to
Hello.
Spotlight TV. I'm your host, Dr. Larry Carnes, and we're glad that you could join us today. We're excited to have a very special guest with us today, Mr. McDonald, and he's the author of Pandora's Christmas. So we're going to be talking to Mr. McDonald today, and he's going to be sharing his book with us. Mr. McDonald, how are you today, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, it's so great to have you as our guest today. Tell our viewing audience a little bit about yourself, and then tell us about this book that you have.
Well, I'm a bookbinder. I've done a lot of things with books. I've read them, made them for Princess Diana, in fact. And I've done that for 30 odd years. Now I'm looking after the wife. She's disabled now. So I thought, in the meantime, write a book. And this is my first.
Okay.
Pandora's
So now
Christmas.
tell our audience a little. Okay.
Yes.
Pandora's Christmas. Yes.
Yeah.
So what was the driving force behind you writing this book?
Oh, right. You know that it's a Greek story, I believe. Pandora was given a box with all the evils in the world in it. What made me a bit curious is how do they get them in there in the first place? So generally speaking, this book is about how they'd done that and how the book was given away.
Okay. I noticed here you talk about it, the book will widen your knowledge about wizards and witches and where magic really came from. How does the book do that, where magic really came from? Unpack that for our audience and speak to that.
I decided that it'd be best evolving. So from that point of view, but a lot of the real wizards evolved and died out during a mass extinction because I imagined it as very old. But I've got dragons in there as well, and they were able to give a gift of magic in there. So I've done that, and they argued, and the dragons argued amongst themselves. I've also got in the book a creature called the Whore of Babylon. I don't know whether you've heard of him, but he was in the Bible, and he was.
No, I haven't heard of that before. Okay.
He was a servant of the devil. He wanted to free the devil. He was he was trapped. So the Whore of Babylon, has 7 heads, but because it was cursed, only one could get out at a time. And she went in. We named her Mystery, simply because we didn't know who was coming out to start off with. So the whore was called the Mystery. And it came as things. I like going through, I'm a bit of a cosmologist. Now I had creatures coming from Io and from moons as well, which are unknown or made up a type of moon which spins one way and spins another way on the other side, keeping it warm through friction and kinetic energy. So it is, I enjoyed it actually. So I'm writing another one at the moment. So I've only got about 50 pages written of that. And
wow.
It's going to.
So you mentioned something about where magic really came from as I was doing research on the book. Talk to us about that, where magic really came from, because I thought that's interesting. Because for people who are, they entertain, they're illusionists and they get into magic and things of that nature. So where did magic really come from?
Well, it was evolved in other creatures, like Homo erectus and the like. It just got better, and one of the witches, I made her royalty, and she fell in love with a beekeeper, and the beekeeper's daughter was Pandora, and they were trying to get rid of the Whore of Babylon because it proved a threat. And the magic was mainly given by the dragons, and the dragons died off. A lot of the dragons died off, and
Okay,
it
so
first started
with,
like I said, it first started in a cave. They tried to get rid of some of the evils because it's happened before, and this is not a physical thing. Evils aren't really physical, so they try to impregnate the body with all these horrible evils, and then they sealed it. This is what a previous generation tried to do, but they weren't really successful because the curse come up again and it broke it free.
Okay, you talk about the curse, you talk about it happening in a cave. So when you go into a cave, it's really a dark place in the cave. What happens when you're dealing with the magic, you're dealing with the wizards, you're dealing with the witches? What happens if light starts to penetrate that cave that they're in? Does it have any impact on what they're doing in the cave?
No, because they, like in Harry Potter, they illuminate on the wands and etc. And it was, they were running away from things, and the cave was there. From there.
Oh, wow. So if light starts to penetrate the darkness, I might hear you saying, like Harry Potter, they would run away from light that starts to penetrate that world of that kingdom of darkness?
Yeah, essentially, yes. Yeah.
So what would prompt them? Why would they feel the need or the urgency to run away from the light when it started to penetrate that world of darkness?
Because they knew that it wasn't ordinary light, it was part of the evils that was escaping. And they also process of the whore coming back, right? It's you see a process. It absorbed gases, and they managed to work out what kind of whore. There's different types. There's a lust, and there's all the 7 evils. You've got lust, and you've got wrath, you've got sloth, and these are all carried around. And they were carried around essentially to start off with this lady named Martine, but she kept them in a foot, because I put them in the foot because they called it the dust of all the evils, So I thought, put them in the foot, and that's where the dust is. As simple as that. But the curse started to reopen, and one of the heads come out and grew into the Whore of Babylon, but only one could. So this one that come out was lust. So I made it so that it wasn't really hard to kill the whore, but to get rid of all the dust on the ground was a whole new ball game, because it's like digging up sand and blowing it away. We had to use a different method, and this dust ended up in Pandora's Christmas, Pandora's box, and
wow.
She was.
Now, why is it called Pandora's Christmas? Why that title? That's quite an interesting title, Pandora's Christmas.
Because it's backwards, and Christmas, it's a horrible thing, isn't it? Pandora's box is not a good thing, but if it is a Pandora's Christmas, you've got the closed box and all the evils are in there, and she doesn't have to open it. it was the one day
Okay.
you could get it.
Pandora's Christmas. That's
I
interesting
did.
because when you hear the word Christmas,
I changed the name. No, it was, and because I increased the size so that I wrote a few more pages on it, I changed the name from satanic platforms, where each it's like a phone is like a platform. Whatever goes on in your mind, like us now, we're on a platform, and the satanic platforms was a method of speaking to the public for everyone to go through. And this was from Satan himself. He controlled everything that was on the computers and everything. He could see what was happening. So
you're saying that the platform, you're saying
excuse me.
Are you saying that the platform and the message, I heard you say from Satan, so when the light starts to penetrate that kingdom that they live in, are you saying that they feel threatened by that light?
Yeah, and dust.
Does the light have the power? Does the light have the power over that kingdom of darkness, and that's why they feel threatened?
Yes, essentially, yes. It has the power to speak to everything. Well, listen to everything, not speak, because and then Satan is listen to all this, and then and Satan can speak directly to mystery, the horror of Babylon, and tell her what to do. But the first thing was get him out of there. I put him trapped in a book. It's called the Devil's Bible. Actually, it's a real Bible hidden in Sweden. It's Codex Gigas. You see a picture of him on the back. But I assumed that it was he was trapped in there by some spells in the Bible alone. Have you heard of it, Codex Gigas?
No, but that's quite interesting because I'm hearing you saying that that kingdom of darkness feels threatened because it knows that the kingdom of light can penetrate it. So it's in the cave. And when that kingdom of light comes in, it flees and tries to run away from it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Listen, we have 2 minutes remaining. We have 2 minutes. You have about 30 to 45 seconds to just tell people. I know the book's available on Amazon, but just take about 30 seconds and tell our viewing audience how they can contact you if they want to contact you.
You can contact me on my Facebook page, and you can look at Amazon and Kindle and get this on the Facebook page. And advertisers are book trail agency. They help me publicize it and get in contact with you.
Okay. Oh, well, Mr. McDonald, thank you so much for being with us. It's quite interesting, the interview. Thank you so much. And we
hope you enjoyed it.
To just, yes, thank you so much. And so we want to thank our viewers for joining us, and we'll be right back. Thank you for watching Mr. McDonald here on Spotlight TV. I'm your host, Dr. Larry Carnes. We'll see you next time right here on Spotlight TV.